Okay, welcome everybody to our Drawing for Wellness class from the Wellness Center. Today we're going to be doing a project on mindfulness. And before we start, you'll just need a piece of paper and something to draw with. I'm also going to read to you our waiver that we have to read each class. Doesn't always apply to us, but here goes. In order to make these classes as freely accessible as possible to our participants, we will be using a verbal warning and assumption of risk at the beginning of class. Participation in this online class is voluntary. Physical activity programs may result in injury, and by participating, you assume the risk of injury that may result from your participation. We strongly recommend that you participate from a space that is suitable for this activity. Make sure that you have moved nearby furniture and other potential hazards. If you are participating in a yoga class or a class that involves laying on the ground, we recommend using a mat, or if you don't have one, a carpeted area. Participants are encouraged to stop if they experience pain or injury and should seek appropriate medical advice or care as needed. William & Mary Health and Wellness strongly recommends that each participant have an annual physical exam and follow the advice of your healthcare provider before participating. Okay, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about mindfulness. And art is a really perfect, I'm trying to move my screen so you can see, exercise in mindfulness. And we hear this term mindfulness all the time now. You know, we have lots of mindfulness classes and people just say, oh, do such and such mindfulness exercises, or I did this very mindfully. So mindfulness, the definition by John Kabat-Zinn, who did kind of a bigger trend, although mindfulness has been around. Mindfulness is being in the present moment with intention, non-judgmentally, okay? Which means, so we're going to be present, means we're going to be thinking about what's happening right here and now rather than our mind wandering, with intention meaning doing it purposefully, and non-judgmentally meaning we're going to take away that judgment. So in art, a lot of times I'll say, no, there's no right and wrong, or take away that critical inner voice. So art is perfect because oftentimes all we're thinking about is what's right in front of us. And we don't always realize why art feels so good, or you might feel calm, or you might feel reset after art. And that's because it's a pretty mindful activity. Because when you're doing an art project, painting, drawing, whatever it is, you're mostly just thinking about what's here in front of you, right? You're thinking, oh, I'll curve that line in a little more, or maybe I'll use a little bit more red or a little bit more yellow. So that's being very present in the present moment. And we can all think of times when we are very present and times when we're not. And that's the way our brain works. A lot of the time we're multitasking and doing multiple things. If you think about when you're in the shower in the morning, for example, you know, we're rarely sitting there saying, oh, let me get the shampoo on every little part. And, oh, I love the smell of this lavender shampoo. And now I'm feeling the water, rinsing it off. We're not doing that at all. I myself, I'm like, okay, later today I have this, and then following I have that, and oh, I can't forget this later. And so a mindful shower would be doing that, like feeling the sensations of the hot water flowing all over you, making sure you get the soap everywhere. So other things that we do mindlessly are like driving, for example. You know, we could be shifting, putting the blinker on, turning on the wipers, all while listening to music and talking to my kids at the same time, right? Then sometimes you could be driving and you're so zonked out, you're like, well, I missed the turn I was supposed to do 2 blocks back, right? So, but when we first started driving, when we first got our license, boy, were we mindful, right? You're, oh my God, am I going over too much? And now what do I do? And this and that. So people notice the benefits of mindfulness when we're doing something intentionally. So we could never do this all day long, right? But you can practice it in bits throughout the day. And people notice the benefits of mindfulness in that people will say that they feel calmer after, more centered, clear-headed, maybe their mood is better, a lot of these different things by just doing maybe 15 minutes of mindfulness, or even doing an activity mindfully. For example, I like to encourage William & Mary students to when you're walking from one class to the next. Rather, you should, rather than having your cell phone out and get right on your phone and do this and this, and I do it too. I'll maybe send emails walking across campus now because we have the luxury on iPhones, but I'll encourage students to maybe walk from one class to the other just mindfully, right? So you're not texting, you're not listening to music, you're just walking and noticing the sounds around you, the people you see, and all of that. So that is mindfulness in a nutshell. I'm feeling unmindful right now because I want to make sure, yes, I have it on speaker view. Okay. So that is mindfulness in a nutshell. And then there is this very, very, very kind of well-known cartoon that's out there I was thinking about the other day, and it gave me the idea for this. So I'm going to share my screen, hopefully, and show you this. And we're going to do kind of a take on this today. So I'll get this out of here. All right, so this is the one I wanted to show you. It says mindful or mindful. So this is maybe someone going on a walk and thinking about, oh my God, I got to take my dog to the vet later. Oh, I have that upcoming talk I have to give. Oh, I got to do some laundry, listening to music, thinking about various people in your life. Looks like the mail. So all sorts of different things while you walk, right? Your mind is just lost in all that stuff you have to do. And sure, it's great to be outside and it's great to get exercise, but a mindful walk would look more like this little guy. I like that they have a dog doing it because dogs are inherently mindful, right? They're not like, oh, my to-do list. So this dog is taking a mindful walk next to its human and just seeing what's in front of it and taking it in and enjoying it. So let me stop sharing and come back. Okay, good. And what we're going to do is you'll take a plain piece of paper and fold it in half long ways. Hopefully you guys can see. And you can really do this with whatever medium you like. Could be collage, could be painting, could be pastels. And we're going to do our own take. And so I have colored pencil and pencil. But I'm going to grab my Sharpie here because I want to show you guys. I want you to be able to see it, really. All right, so I just have this piece of paper. It's just simply computer paper, and I have some really basic colored pencils. And I'm going to put one side says, oops, I'll use my Sharpie so you guys can see. One side of the paper, you're going to write mindful. So mind and then the word full. Okay, and then the other side, the word mindful, as in mindfulness, like we hear all the time these days. This brings me to a very good point, which is that, gosh, there are really good resources at the Wellness Center YouTube channel and website of mindfulness practices if you do enjoy this. But so on one side, we wrote mindful, on the other side, mindful. And what we're going to do today is we're going to draw on one half what your full mind might feel like. What are some things that are in it? And a lot of us are having very full minds right now. I find myself more than normal, of course, with everything with COVID going on and reading the news and also being at home all the time with my kids and everybody in the computers. There's a lot more stimulation, I guess, than what my normal day would be like, come to think of it. And then the other side, what is kind of your mindful place? Is it a Zen kind of drawing? Is it open space? Is it your kind of your happy or soothing place to go? So on one half, we'll draw our mindful side, and the other side, our mindful side. So I'm gonna pour out my colored pencils and get started. And I'm gonna think of some real things that keep my mind full and busy and start drawing them. So. And just like in the other classes we have here, this is a recorded class, and so we will, you know, have our videos off for now, and then at the end we can share. I'll turn the camera off, so you all can just work on your own at home, and I will as well. Some people just like to watch people draw too. I guess that's where that PBS show. Gosh, why am I blanking on his name? And he says, the happy little trees. I love him. Why am I having a brain fart? Ugh. Cindy, I don't even know if you know how to write a message, but what is his name? The gray hair. All right, I gotta look it up. I can't take it. He was on PBS. You just watch him paint. Happy little mistakes. Why am I having, oh, thank you, Bob Ross. See, the internet is great. Okay, I was saying that people love to watch people draw and paint, and that Bob Ross was kind of like the start of that. Some people like to do it for lessons, but some people just like to watch it. Like I said, you could do this with really any medium. Collage would be fun for the mindful part, because that there tends to be lots of little busy clippings with collage. So think of realistic things that fill your mind, not that you're making them up. My first one. Let's see, what else fills my mind? And like I've said before, you can start with pencil and then fill it in. It's up to you. And these are my worries, but it doesn't mean they're everybody's, right? So whatever is worrisome to you. Or it doesn't even have to be worrisome. It could just be stuff that you have to like remember and think about. It could be, oh, like later I have to get this at the store, or I should remember to do XYZ for work later. It's all that kind of chitter chatter in the mind. And I'll show you mine as we go along. And try to do mindfulness here, right? Try to not think about all those other things, but just think about this activity placed in front of you. That's why it's kind of fun to, when you're coming to a class like this, or a yoga class, or and maybe the mindfulness classes, it's fun to kind of set up your space in a mindful way, like clear the area, none of your work stuff around if you can, and maybe put on some relaxing music, or even just, I've noticed just even like a little candle. You know, sometimes like, oh geez, I have to go all the way downstairs to get the little thing to light the candle. But boy, after I do it, I'm like, oh my God, I love having this candle on. It makes the biggest difference. And it's just this tiny little thing. So, you know, all those little sensory treats help us be mindful too. What else should I put? I see the sun peeking out today, finally, which is nice. That's been helping me a lot. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's been a big factor during this time at home, is having the sun out, being able to get out in general. I find that when I'm in nature, I'm very mindful too. I don't know if it's just because it's such a treat for your senses. You know, the smell, the sights, all the sounds. Okay, and I'm almost done with my mindful side. Now, that doesn't mean you guys have to be done. I'm going kind of quickly, so I'll be able to show my examples. I'm going to make my mindful side really busy. I don't think it's all the way done. I have more things to add. But for the purposes of this video, I will stop in a bit and show you. Other times that we're naturally very mindful without having the intention or the purpose of practice is when we're doing something we love. Okay, so you might say, I've heard people say, when I'm playing with my kids or my grandkids, I'm so mindful, I'm right there with them. And that's because it's something you love to do. Or certain sports, soccer and things like that, you'll hear people say, I'm just especially mindful during when I'm being goalie or whatever. And then also, of course, during like emergency or times when you need to be on alert, right? If you are giving a talk in front of a lot of people, right? You're not going to be like having your mind wander. You're going to be right there paying attention, or doing a challenging exam or something like that, right? Those are times you're also very, very mindful. Okay, so I want to show you the start. This is my mindful side, very busy. I put down here the COVID kind of symbol we see on everything, money. Maybe we're worrying about money. The earth, a lot of times I'm like worrying about the earth, or just in general about all of our people right now, and then a big to-do list. And now I'm going to do my mindful side. And you can also notice how you're feeling. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, during art, I'm generally very mindful, but maybe during the mindful part of the exercise, you felt a little agitated, a little, oh, I don't wanna think about all that stuff, right? So over here, I'm gonna think about some sort of image that feels very mindful to me. Could be kind of what we call our happy place, or just something simple and soothing that you'd like to exemplify this. Now I'm choosing to do repeating lines on my drawing, and you'll see what I'm making in a minute. But that kind of simple, repetitive drawing style is usually very relaxing and very much a mindful process, because all you do is follow the line ahead of you. One more section, and then I'll show you what I did for my mindful sides. Then we can turn the recording off and socialize a little and share our pieces. If you were to come to an art therapy class for faculty and staff or for students at the Wellness Center, we do a lot of sharing and interacting, or social wellness as we call it. I need to sharpen my pencil, so sorry guys, it's a little loud. And always at the end, we always have a sharing portion. It's a big part of art therapy too. It's not just about a teacher teaching you, but it's about hearing about your experience and what you were thinking about while you were making art and how it felt for you. And sometimes we might say, well, I didn't like that. It wasn't for me, and that's okay. Then you get to know which mediums or which projects you really do connect with and enjoy. Certain ones are more mindful, maybe, or easier for you, and then you can just focus on relaxing. Or sometimes when something takes a great deal of concentration, that can be very, very mindful. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'll stop for the purpose of the recording and show you my example. So my side of mindful, very busy and jittery. I think I'm going to add a few more things. A lot of stuff that fills my brain. And here's my mindful side. I did some repeating lines, and I did a kind of nature scene that is soothing to me. So with that said, stop the recording and we can socialize a little more and share. But that's mindful art for today on Drawing for Wellness. Thank you.